Plus Sports and PlusTvAfrica. My name is Wally Scott. Welcome on the show. Mukail, now, amid reports that the Nigerian Football Federation will part ways with Gernot Rohr as Super Eagles coach, fans have heard their views on whether the football body should go for a local or a foreign coach if eventually Roy is given the boot. Now, Victor Ikpeba said yesterday and said, come, there is no way you will sack Gernot Rohr. First of all, the money to be paid to him is too much. Secondly, he's the best coach as far as he's concerned for Nigeria Super Eagles. But some fans are saying that, listen, we need a coach that is not sentimental. Rohr has been here for too long. He has become sentimental. If you bring in a Nigerian coach, or what we call a local coach, he will be sentimental. We need someone who doesn't know these players, who will only depend on them based on merits. Well, I think that makes sense.
Well, yes, absolutely. We've talked about possibly getting a manager from one of the other African nations with the pedigree.
You said Egypt?
Yes, Egypt is a good example. With a good pedigree of going far in competitions, a ruthless streak when it comes to selecting players based on what they can offer the team. Obviously, we wish we could go for someone more elaborate, someone more prestigious in the profession. I, as a Chelsea fan, currently love the work that Thomas Tuchel is doing. We need a tactician. We need someone who's pragmatic, but also very, very adventurous, willing to take risks when there's nothing left to lose. Unfortunately, under Gernot Rohr, we've been pragmatic all throughout. And he hasn't taken his foot off that gas when it comes to pragmatism. But with all that pragmatism, he hasn't come up with a tactical philosophy that we can rely on, that we can fall back to. Even when things are going wrong, even when the players are not able to demonstrate what they've learned during the week, they can fall back to a philosophy that they know well to their core. We haven't seen that, and we need a manager who's familiar with African football, who's familiar with the rigors of the specific nature of our league, possibly someone not of Nigerian descent, someone who has trained elsewhere and has had opportunities to see what football looks like in Europe, because we need to catch up to Europe. We need to explore our best assets now, because this is the golden generation.
True.
If we're going to win as many trophies as possible, it's now.
Now, before we move forward, Bonfrey Joe, who did quite well with the Super Eagles at the point, says he wants to come back. And if he does come back, if the NFF do call him back, he's going to have to work with Amunike and one other Nigerian player. Do you think we can actually accept Bonfrey Joe back?
Well, I mean,
because he knows Nigerian football, but of course, in the course of time, he became sentimental too.
You know, the thing is, it all depends on the mandate given to him by the NFF. What is the project that they have in mind? What's the duration? Who's best suited to accomplish and fulfill that need? The mandate will determine what we need in a manager, and it will determine whether we should go for Joe.
When you talk about mandates, that seems to confuse me. I have consistently got into trouble for my arguments based on this, and let me just mention it today. We bring a coach to the Super Eagles. We pay him his monthly salaries, and then we give him extra bonuses for qualifying for the World Cup, for qualifying for the Nations Cup, for reaching the second round in the World Cup or whatever competition we go to. My question is, why did you bring him in the first place? How can you give him a bonus for qualifying for the World Cup? I thought part of the job, without being written down or verbally told, telling you, you should know you have to qualify for the World Cup now. Well, that's why they're the coach.
Well, the job, the primary
I don't think any country abroad pays their coach for qualifying them for the World Cup.
Well, we can't say, because these contracts are usually hush-hush. But I will say this, the primary responsibility of a manager is come in and
qualify,
win games. Winning games back-to-back will qualify you for competitions. Now, if along the way you build a strong enough squad that is capable of competing definitely well in every competition, then yes, a bonus here and there might be an incentive to allow them recognize that they are valued and that we want them to stay. We want them to stay the course. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we seem to put the carrot before the achievement. When we pay Gennett Rohr for the bare minimum, it seems to tell him he doesn't have to put as much effort. And I hope we don't set the same example with the next manager.
Former Manchester United midfielder Michael Carrick has been placed in interim charge after the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and claims that his knowledge of the club will help prepare him for the role. Now, Carrick, who served as a first-team coach under the Norwegian, believes he has a similar style to his predecessor, but will be hoping his different personality will help turn results around. The 40-year-old refused to comment on his ambitions to manage the Red Devils long-term, stating that all focus should be on improving performances and picking up points. United captain Harry Maguire accepts that the players should take full responsibility for results on the pitch, but admits the side want to succeed in every game. Now, Mikhail, this is English language. And when you have a hidden message in your speech, it's obvious. Michael Carrick says, I have the same style with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We have the same style in our head, but I have a different personality. What is he trying to say?
Perhaps he wants us to believe that he's going to demand more of the players. He's going to put a greater emphasis on the mental acuity and acceptance of the way he wants them to play. He's only going to put forward the kinds of players who accept without question and are committed to his way of thinking, for otherwise you're not going to start. Now, that's just an estimation on my part, but truth be told, Carrick doesn't strike me as a manager. He doesn't breathe into me a lot of confidence. ManU United will do very well to sort out their manager's situation as quickly as possible, preferably for them before the end of the season, because as it is right now, if things keep going with him and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being on the same page as to how they should play and how they've been playing, who they should play and how they've been playing, being the way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and he agreed they should try to play, well then it doesn't bode well for Manchester United, and they will fall down the table significantly.
Now, Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel will take a late call on striker Romelu Lukaku for today's Champions League group home game against Juventus, but said on Monday that midfielder Jorginho was fit after coming off against Leicester City at the weekend. Lukaku was not featured since injuring his ankle in their 4-0 home win against Malmo last month, but was expected to return in action against the Italians today. Now, holders Chelsea, who were beaten in the reverse fixture in the September, trailed group leaders Juventus by 3 points after 4 games in Group H. Now, the London side needs to avoid defeat at Stamford Bridge to confirm their place in the round of 16. The German, however, said he had enough options to make up for the absence of the Belgium international, especially with forward Timo Werner back in the squad after a lengthy spell on the sidelines. I guess Chelsea's just been modest, because if you look at their strike force at this point, Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, they have people that can actually play, do the dominant for him, come up front, and UV are not in the best of forms right now, you know. So talking about Chelsea, trying not to risk a loss of, we don't expect them to lose.
Well, tactically speaking, the manager is very capable of playing with a false 9. At the same time, I think it might be the best option for us, given the way the match went in the reverse leg at Juventus Stadium. The truth is, if we have to play, we're better off playing with Kai.
I'll come to you. I've got Stanley Ikawu on the phone. Stanley, welcome on the show.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being on the show. Nice to play.
Now, Stanley, and we're talking about initially about if we're going to get a coach to replace Gennett Rohr, should it be a foreign coach or a coach who is more nearer home, maybe a Nigerian, preferably?
So there's no miracle worker anywhere. That's one thing we must put into consideration. Secondly, whether foreign or local, we need a coach that will give us good results and also coupled with good football. Now, the reason Nigeria has won the result out of the Super League is not because we're not getting the result, no. But the flow of football, how Nigeria has loved to see the Super League play, has changed the game. And as such, it looks like the national team doesn't have a football philosophy. Now, having said that, even if we must replace the role, we must replace him with the capable hand. Now, the point is this. There's a said they are going to 3,000 to replace the role. And having gone through his resume, having gone through his start, he does not even come close to the role. This is a man who is just 5 years as a coach, or in the coaching job. Now, what is such a coach bringing to the Super League? Now, if we must bring, I think we must bring his presence in the show, whether local or foreign. I think we need a coach that can instill that competitiveness, that level of a coach that can restructure our national team back to where it was long before the Raptors, and of course long before the death of us in this leadership.
Now, Stanley, before I let you go, I feel that coaches like Gernot Rohr and coaches in the past have been sentimental. And Raw has become sentimental. Maybe if a new coach comes, we should get a coach who is going to be, he will field players based on merits and not sentiments.
Well, that boils down to if the football federation wants it to be sentimental. That boils down to if the football federation would not take up the role of the technical advisor or the technical committee. Now, if Ahmad is considering what has played out so far, and of course, looking at how he has handled their anything to go by. And I don't think even if you bring the last Lagerback back or even if you bring another Mourinho back, you would not have any form of interference on his job. That's what what's the name, Thomas Benedict found that and decided I think it's high time I leave the job. Now if you know your onion and you think you don't want any form of interference, and you want to see how to operate, considering the task given to you, then I feel the NFL should amp anything that has to do with interference on the job of the manager. The technical committee, the job of the technical committee is to oversee as a custodian of being in charge of the technical advisor or the supervisor, not the job of the NFS. So having said that, I think for a role, even if it must be replaced, which I think it's coming a bit late, what must be replaced with a capital hand.
I want to thank you very much, Stanley Ikawu, for joining us this morning. Thank you.
All day, every day.
What Stanley just said brings a different light into it. He says that the technical director, the technical committee of the Super Eagles never get involved in the team selection, how they play, how they intend to play. And it's only the NFF, Amaju Pinnick, is the man who gets the blame. He doesn't listen to you. He does what he wants. He doesn't care what you think. That the man gets involved, and that the sentiment I am talking about is not from the coaches, actually. It's from the guys who get involved, who should not be involved in the first place.
At the level that Amaju Pinnick is, he should not be involved. He should not micromanage who gets selected for the team. And plus, he doesn't have the kind of experience about football, about the sport, to have any opinion relevant for the manager to take on board in regards to personnel and tactical setup. Unfortunately, we've said it in the past that the problem isn't just at the doorstep of Gernot Rohr. It's an administrative problem. It's the way the
structure.
Yeah, it's the structure.
Let's look at Champions League fixtures for today. And we've already spoken about Chelsea against Juventus, the old lady of Italian football.
Yes.
And we agree that they're not in the best of forms. And Chelsea should be able to have their share of the cake today.
Yes, yes.
Let's look at other results on the screen now. Champions League fixtures, the rest matches for today. And let's try and see this. Dynamo Kiev will take on
Bayern Munich, yes.
Bayern travel to Dynamo.
Yes.
That's cold.
The interest in this match in the past has shown a lot of spirit from Dynamo. they pose some questions to Bayern Munich. But of course, Bayern Munich is a much stronger team with a deeper bench, and a lot of opportunities to score will be taken by Bayern Munich, unlike Dynamo. So I expect, obviously, Bayern Munich to win that game, even with Dynamo being at home.
Let's just try and pick some matches out of it. Villarreal will host a coachless Manchester United.
Well, not coachless, managerless.
Okay, managerless.
Well, let's see what miracle Carrick can spring up. I probably expect Man United will go with a very conservative tactic and try to counter and beat Villarreal on the counter. Well, with Chelsea versus Juventus, we've already said all we can about that.
Sevilla against Wolfsburg.
Yes, Sevilla, the match will probably end in multiple goals, probably as much as 2-2. I believe that both teams want to play the ball, they want to score goals, and Sevilla at home cannot afford to not take the game to Wolfsburg. And Wolfsburg being away have nothing to lose.
Zenit travel to Malmo. Malmo in trouble, if you ask me.
Well, yes, definitely. But this is the kind of match where Malmo could steal 3 points or even a point against Zenit. Lille versus RB Salzburg will be an interesting watch.
But Young Boys against Atlanta, that's Manchester United's group. Yeah. And now they are going to be hoping, both teams will be hoping that Atlanta, Young Boys and Villarreal will be hoping that the sack of the coach could do something for them, and then they can just make the best out of their match. Hopefully Villarreal can make the best out of their match too. But really, Villarreal thinking that the sack of Solskjaer will make a major difference might be wrong, because Carrick has always been the coach in his shadows. Well, he's as good as Solskjaer still been there.
Yes, it's true, but at the same time, it also creates an acceptance that as the manager is not around and as things have gone down the drain so far, there's probably less control over the squad, less control over the first 11 as opposed to when Solskjaer was there. That was the thing you could count on. Even when the players were...
Well, ManU fans have always said that as far as they're concerned, the players just go there and do their thing. There was really no coach there before. So if there's less control over the players, they just go out there and do what they were doing before, their thing.
Well, I mean, the philosophy wasn't there, true. But the thing about having someone in the position where the buck can...
Did Solskjaer tell Cristiano Ronaldo, or is he telling him anything? Nothing. Just tells the guy to run, and the guys find Ronaldo. That's about it.
All right, let's...
Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James was ejected from Sunday's win over Detroit Pistons for an errant swinging arm that drew significant blood from the face of Isaiah Stewart. Now, the incident took place with 9:18 remaining in the third quarter, with the Lakers trailing 78-66 as James swung his arm through and struck Pistons center Stewart in the eye when battling for a rebound after a free throw. Stewart, with blood streaming from his eye, had to be held back by multiple staff members as he attempted to confront James on several occasions. Now, following an official review, James has assessed a flagrant 2 penalty, resulting in his ejection for the second time in his 19-year career. His first ejection came in November 2017 against the Miami Heat. Now, Stewart was also ejected while Lakers guard Russell Westbrook was handed a technical foul for his involvement in the scrap following the incident. Pistons head coach Dwayne Casey said Stewart received 8 stitches and hoped the center would be spared a possible suspension. After thrilling in the third quarter, the Lakers bounced back in the fourth quarter to seal a win in Detroit and end their 3-game losing streak.
I don't think James is a dirty player. But again, it got them going instead of us continue the momentum we had. It kind of got them going a little bit. He shouldn't be facing anything. He was just, he not getting off the court in time is probably the league would have to decide that. But the man got, 8 stitches, not whatever the number of stitches is, across his forehead, and I don't even know if he knew who had hit him. But he was upset, and blood running down his face, and You know, so I don't see any ramifications from the league from that standpoint, except from just not leaving the court in time, maybe. And I thought that's why he got ejected out of the game. So to me, that's enough punishment.
You know, you were saying yesterday, Mukail, and I agree, the coach agrees with you, that LeBron James, he's not a dirty player.
Yeah.
However, like you said yesterday, just maybe...
The tension.
Maybe the whole world expects too much from him to pull the team forward, and maybe...
There's a lot of frustration going on in the team right now. Before that game, they had lost 3 games back-to-back to Chicago Bulls. And it just tells you that the tension, the frustration is wearing on James, and unfortunately he lashed out in the moment. 2 ejections in his entire career tells you very well that he's
a decent player.
Yeah, he's a decent sportsman, and he's not prone to outbursts of the sort. And he is and given his level of talent, he's often subjected to a lot of trash talk on the court. He's often targeted as someone the opposition team needs to try and force or get under his scheme to get him off the court as quickly as possible. But James has remarkably done an exemplary period in his entire
Before we leave on the show, before I say my bye-byes, Jordan Poole scored over 30 for the second game as the Golden State Warriors beat the Toronto Raptors 119-104. I will leave you with that on the show today. Thank you, Stanley Ikawu, for joining us on the show today. Thank you, Mukail. This program was produced single-handedly by Toby Olushola. Thank you very much, my producer. My name is Wally Scott. Join us same time tomorrow, same station, Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. Like I always advise you, at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports, some NBA.
Maybe do some high jumps. I love how Steph sprints like he's doing right now. Curry, reload 3. Not too long ago was a tough one. He had to earn it. Trent Jr. goes for 6. Wiggins is 5 of 6. Prick, is he? And he was like, no, he's a good dude, because you can't be named God's gift. That gets someone in the middle at some point. To beat the buzzer, Poole 3. You can hit threes if you want to get a team up. Wiggins corner 3. You don't even know to find him on that jump skip 7 for Clay. Steph is going to get that at some point, the playoff one. And then got it back from Looney. Don't think about him being undrafted. What a value that is. Jordan Poole, another 3. You just see them up because they're down big. Curry. Steps like significant dent. Early in the third, they were making noises. Van Vliet. Here we go. Got a 10-point game.